Hello, good morning and welcome to Joy News Interactive here on the DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144 on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We're Joy News on TV. On YouTube, it's My Joy Online TV. So excited to bring you today's edition of Joy News Interactive. It's Friday and the weekend is here. Aren't you excited? I'm excited, aren't you? Okay, well, yeah. I'm Abita CVD. Thank you so much for your company. Now, Ghanaians are set to go to the polls on December 17th to elect unit committee members and assembly members and also decide in a referendum whether to allow political parties participation and sponsorship in local government elections going forward. Now, until a few weeks ago, it was almost certain the Yes campaign in the upcoming referendum was virtually home and dry until a No campaign threw a spanner in the works and appears to be mounting a formidable opposition. Josephine Nkrumah, who's the chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, has been explaining what a yes or a no vote means and why you must vote.
Well, I must say that from very early on, we noticed that a lot of people assumed that the referendum was to elect MMDCEs. And so at each point in time, wherever we were given the platform, we would reiterate that it's not for the election of MMDCs, that it's a separate matter being undertaken by Parliament to amend Article 243, and that the national referendum is actually to determine whether we want to see multi-party participation in local governance. So that is what it was. But then we realized that as we went on, you were having more pronouncements about the election of MMDCs, the referendum to elect MMDCs, and we realized that, hang on a minute, this is confusing, because for us, the key thing is even the question, the referendum question as it is, if somebody goes to the polls and doesn't see that question, doesn't see a question that alludes to the election of MMDCs, that in itself would cause confusion, and people will say, well, I didn't come to vote about this, I came to vote for MMDC. So we thought it was important to reiterate the point and clarify that position. So and it went more pronounced, and so we had in the media space and people just touting it. Last week it was in the Times, everywhere, and we said, no, we need to put out a statement and clarify this position.
So clarify it for us here and now. What is it that when people go to the polls on December 17th, what are they going to find on the ballot paper?
They're going to find three things. There's a first ballot to elect our unit committee members, and on that ballot you have up to 5 persons that you can vote for. And then you're going to have the second one, the election of your assembly member in your electoral area. And the third one, in relation to the referendum, where the question is put, whether you want to see political parties participating in local governance. So 3 things are required of us. You vote for your unit committee member, you vote for your assembly member, and then you vote yes. When you vote yes, it presupposes that you want to amend, you want to see Article 55(3) being amended, and the implication is that it will allow political parties to participate in local governance. If you vote no, then it means that you want the status quo to remain and you would not like to see political parties participating in local governance. That is required of the citizenry. So that's cleared. So December 17th, anything to do with election of MMDCs has nothing to do with the citizenry. We are not going to elect, we are not going to vote on that matter. That matter is being catered for by Parliament, because the article that must be amended to take away the powers from the President and give to the electorate is a non-entrenched provision, which means that constitutionally it's the parliamentarians have the power to amend that article. And that Article 243 is what is before Parliament. Now, when Parliament amends, let's assume that Parliament amends this article, it means that Ghanaians would now be able to vote for their MMDCs. So whether or not there is a referendum, the change would be Ghanaians would now be allowed to elect their MMDCs, and therefore you would be putting the MMDCs in the same category as the unit committee and assembly members. Now, come December 17th, the question is then posed, how would you like to see this done? Would you like to see it done along partisan lines?
Okay.
Would you like to see parties participating? And that is when you would cast your vote to say, yes, I want to see it, or no, I don't want to see it. I want the status quo to be that local governance is without multi-party participation. Well, we've come to a junction in our district level elections, and I think going forward, if we all understand the essence of district level elections, or understand the essence that development is really at the district level, and it touches every single one of us, whether you're riding in your car to the house or to work, whether you have water running through your taps, whether you have electricity, street lights, all of these things touch the essence of our daily living. And so it's important for all of us to go out and vote.
All right.
That is the first step. The second step is, again, we've come to that crossroads where we have to determine where we would like to see our district assemblies go. Do we want to have political parties coming all the way down to participate in this, in driving development, or we think that this is not the time? If you don't come out to vote, somebody else will be voting. So everybody has got to come out and vote. Take a position, take a stand, come out and vote.
Take a position, come out and vote, whether you vote yes or no, that's okay. Now, we're asking you how you'll be voting on the upcoming referendum on December 17. You comment with your reason. So we put up this poll. It's either you answer yes or no. That's how you're voting. Are you voting yes or are you voting no? Let's see the results. All right, so 28% said yes. 72% said they are voting no. And that's from 12,400 votes. So that's the poll we put up. So are you voting yes or are you voting no? And with 12,400 votes, 72% are saying no and they're voting no, and 28% said they are voting yes. All right, with 72% saying no and 28% saying yes, let's find out the reasons on Facebook. This one is from @Abdul Rahim, who says we can't afford to extend the NDC NPP bickering and rancor to our doorsteps, especially during campaigns and elections of unit committee and assembly members. Georgita Okra says no, because I'm fed up with this winner takes all politics that we have. We vote and the people are controlled by the political parties and not we, the electorates. I'm tired of this, so I'm voting no. So that at least we can have a party-free individual in that position. And if they don't perform well, we can deal with them as well as citizens. Ataroxen says voting yes wouldn't add anything to our political system. It will only encourage monocracy, which we are already experiencing. It's time to abolish and hoot at elected leaders growing horns and enriching themselves at the expense of issues facing electorates and the community. Wood says it should not be controlled by any of the concert parties. James Stone, Worthington says, by voting, you automatically cling to expectations, and when the expectations are not met, deception sets in. Then finally, you develop the stomach aches. When one doesn't vote, he or she has nothing to complain about after all. Nonsense leaders ruling God's cherished country. Fred Madrista says, if we vote yes, the politicians and their delegates are going to enrich themselves. Mali Kojo Asenio Sage says, no more opening for monetizing our democracy. Local governance should remain in the hands of the locals and not the politicians. Jonathan Paris says, waste of precious time. The people in power are still going to mess things up, so I'll rather go and do productive work and make my company gain. Cephas Rock says, we vote for presidents, we vote for MPs, we vote for assembly members. Now you people are saying we should vote for DCEs. Very soon we'll vote for ministers. Ernest Abulu says, I don't want active politicians to handle issues at the assembly level. It would further polarize our families and communities. Poor farmers who happen to belong to an opposition party are likely to be discriminated upon. Again, people who merit awards are likely to miss such awards to a member of party in power. So I am for no. Mackenzie John says, I vote no because we can politicize everything. We can't afford to fund DCEs and assembly members. Haj Idrisu Mustafa says, because no means you can still vote, but not on partisan lines. Partisanship is the bane of this country and must not be allowed at the decentralized local government level. Nana Kwesi says, NDC and MPP already have the presidency, parliament and the ministries. Let's leave the local assemblies for the remaining patriotic and right-thinking Ghanaians. Mubarak Idris says, I do not support multi-party participation at the local assembly elections. Osman says, we refuse to empower party delegates to choose whosoever they desire for us. The right person for the job never got elected. Team George says local assembly is our last power, so we can't lose it to these politicians. Joe Kakraba says we don't need to worsen the already polarized communities by giving politicians another chance. All right, this one is the last one I'm going to take. From Newton Kwesi, who says, many of our local communities are developed in a way because people see assembly members as non-partisan. Everyone feels free to approach these assembly members with their problems without fear. Assembly members also can lobby irrespective of which political party is in power, and they are attended to. In our current case, where members of parliament are for the people of constituency, but what do we see these days? They have been seen as if they are for only the party that sponsors them. In many cases, they come from a crowd, meet their party people, and all of that. Some of us will campaign against this with our last blood. So a yes vote will be a serious disaster. All right, let's do some tech talk. Yesterday, we brought you what open source software is, which is Linux. Now, today, we're talking about the benefits of open source software.
This is to make your source code available, accessible, make it, people should be able to share it, modify it, and you can also sell it.
Right.
So it means that you can build your whole business on open source tools. We all know WordPress. WordPress powers over 28% of the internet, and it's open source. So they make website building easier.
Yeah.
And they have access to the source. We also know about Android also powers a lot of mobile OS. We also have Ubuntu for mobile as well.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the server space, we have a lot of Apache server, FileZilla, all running on open sources. And they've made the internet going very faster. If we were supposed to depend on Microsoft technologies, I don't think we'll be able to go that far. So when it comes to open source, you can use it irrespective of whichever category you fall in. If you're an individual, you can use it. If you're educational, you can use it. If you're a business person, you can use it. Now look at Windows XP. As Microsoft canceled the updates, all companies, especially the financial industries that are using Windows, have to clear off their machine and maybe move to Windows 7. Yeah. Now Windows 7 2 is going to run out of update now. They also have to move to Windows 10. So that's how your life would be if you're in the proprietary world.
But isn't that the same
no,
in
it's not
the
same in open source?
world?
Open source is stability.
Okay.
Because there's a community always working on patching it, fixing bugs, and making sure it's secure. There's always an update you can always upgrade to. Okay. So you're always intact. You don't need to worry about.
So if I'm using, let's say Ubuntu from 1995.
So you can be upgrading. So you can upgrade from maybe 10.0 to 11 to 12 to 13 to 16 to 18 now. So anytime there's a new release.
But I'm still updating, just like the Windows XP went from XP to 7. Upgrading.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between upgrading and updating. Okay, now I think my people need to understand this. What's the difference between upgrading and updating?
So update could be updating pieces of or modules of the operating system, but upgrade will take you from a version to a newer version.
Okay.
So like from
So you're moving
Windows
from step 1
8 to Windows 10.
But updating
Sort of
is like just
updating some
moving
things or
from...
maybe a patches or some bugs that
Right.
they place in updating.
Okay, so if you're listening to us and you want to send us a message, the number is 0244340437. Send us a message on WhatsApp or Telegram, 0244340437, and we will read those comments.
I wanted to check one
Yeah.
thing. Instagram use open source tools and they're able to build their business with it.
Been off Windows for more than 10 years now. So I'm like, how is Windows ecosystem even like, which antiviruses are good? I have to go and do a web search and then recommend something. But when you're on Linux, you don't have to install even a single antivirus. You don't even have to worry. I've not even seen any antiviruses for Linux. So that's one. You're safe. Second one is it's lightweight.
Okay.
So you install Windows on your PC, and after some months, even weeks, it starts to slow down. You don't experience that on any Linux distribution. Linux operating systems are very lightweight. So even if you have the slowest computer from the 90s, you can still install Linux and then have it run very smoothly over a long period of time. And I think the last one I have here is variety. So there are various flavors
Vanilla,
of
strawberry,
Linux.
and chocolate.
yes. So most people know Ubuntu, but then there's Fedora, there's
Backtrack or
there's Backtrack,
Linux Mint.
there's Linux Mint, there's
open system.
just
It's
there's
Slackware.
so many variety
Wow.
for you. So you just choose the one, the flavor that suits you. You will not get this on proprietary operating systems.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Sava.
And even if you don't get what you want, you can build your own because you have access to the source.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so if you want to build your own
Yeah, you
OS,
can literally build your
open
own.
source is the best way to go. Linux is the best way to go. So is it, there's been talk about Mac OS not having, viruses. And is this attributed to the fact that it's also running on Unix, which is the base of Linux too? Is that what it is? Hey, Ram,
Yes.
since you're the
So
Mac user.
I recently switched to Mac, and I even want to go back to Linux, honestly. Yeah. But it's Linux. I mean, Mac OS runs on some version of Unix,
Okay.
and I think that also contributes to the security. But I know Apple is super secretive about things, and so it's not really necessarily because they're running on Unix, but because it's closed source.
Okay.
And Apple invests a lot into security, so they would want to make us think. Yeah, but yeah.
That's what it is.
All right, that's what you have to know about Linux. On that note, I'm going to take a quick breather. When we come back, we talk about our most watched videos of the week. You're still watching Joy News Interactive with myself, Mapita Sibidi. It's Friday and we bring you the most watched videos of the week with 32,000 views, 721 reactions and 118 shares. It was our comprehensive coverage of the 2020 budget statement and economic policy. As we know, government has announced plans to develop the country's technological capability by investing in a national technological center. According to the finance minister, investing in science and technology is the way forward to push for industrialization and improve the country's technological capabilities. We also know that in November last year, the finance minister presented the 2019 budget and financial policy statement that highlighted key projects and intervention intended to improve infrastructural development and better the lives of Ghanaians. He also announced plans to pay more attention to production of goods and services instead of increasing taxation to rake in revenue. So that's our third most watched video of the week. Our second most watched video of the week was 53,000 views, 1,000 reactions and 311 comments, 290 shares. Was the heartbreaking story of a 6-year-old boy whose fingers are are rotting away after his guardian pounded and dipped them into boiling water. The boy, who had lost his mom and currently under the guardianship of his uncle, said he took some soup and fish because he had not eaten supper, but his uncle got angry and abused him. Let's watch a bit of that story.
My uncle boiled hot water and dipped my fingers into it. The water was very hot. I wanted to take it out, but he threatened to beat me. And so he put my hands into the water till it became cold.
That is the story of 6-year-old boy, whom I choose to call Alovi to protect his identity. Narrating his story, Alovi said he was starving at night, so he woke up at dawn and went for some food. His uncle, identified as Efo Nicholas Kwesi, who is currently his guardian, upon noticing that some fish in the soup had disappeared the following morning, started beating Alovi and his senior brother to confess. Alovi confessed, and the uncle, who was infuriated that the boy had stolen fish from the soup, hit his fingers with a neem tree branch and then dipped his hands into hot water.
All right, with 48,000 views, 918 reactions, 232 comments, 233 shares was our Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Now, as we know, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign task force on Monday discovered that Accra's largest foodstuff market apparently also breeds black rats, whose poison is quite poisonous.
Jumped out of the gutters into the markets.
Because when we come to distill the drain, they are the very people who fill the drain back with their food products. And you see all the drains are filled up, and you can see maggot growth, and they are selling food on top of the drain. So we are asking them to, so you can see infestation of rodents. Because these rodents like areas that are filthy and dirty with food debris. That is where they like. So we want them to distill the drain right now.
Besides the black rats that got everyone running helter-skelter, the stench emanating from the gutter came out with rotten plantains, bananas, plastics, and of course, all in thick black water.
They have been warned several times. We've conscripted their team several occasions. You see, they are not protesting. If they were not to be aware, they would have started protesting. But because they know that they are not supposed to be here, they are not protesting. You see, they are all running. And we saw mice. They are not mice, so these are ratus.
The inspectors announced the team will watch guard all day for the gutters to be desilted.
They will distill the drain until they finish before we leave here.
One by one, they took out their rakes, shovels and long brooms to remove all the trash, only to discover the breeding grounds of the rat. These are pink baby rats, turning and left alone after getting exposed to the sun.
The baby rodents.
Okay, that is kind of disturbing. Apologies for that. Yeah. Okay, let's take our video of the day, a very exciting one of the pitch invader. As we know, the Black Stars yesterday were playing this other team. What team were they playing rather? Is it Bafana, right? Yeah. I think I'm not entirely sure who they were playing. Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that this young man wanted to take a picture with Thomas Partey, who scored the first goal, and well, as you can see, you know, he was caught, but I feel like he was only caught because he fell. If he didn't fall, he wasn't going to be caught. But I mean, that's the most exciting part of the game. It really doesn't matter who won. That's not the point of the game. Do you understand? So that's our video of the day. Like I said, it really doesn't matter who won the game, because I mean, what is this? It's just a friendly, right? It's a qualifying game. It's a qualifier game. I mean, guys, it's just 2-0. Has your country ever won the Rugby World Cup? No, it hasn't. So be there, yeah? All right, that's how I enjoy News Interactive. Thank you so much for your company. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Mapito CBD.